Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. Our mission for this session is to unpack a really unique business called Soul Intention.
Down in Guelph.
Right, located at 497 Woolwich Street in Guelph, Ontario. We've been poring over a stack of sources for this one.
Lots of data.
Yeah, specifically their highly detailed website and their Google Maps data, just trying to figure out what this space actually is. Because looking at the surprising breadth of what they offer, calling Soul Intention a metaphysical supply store turns out to be a massive understatement.
It's honestly a fundamental miscategorization.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look at the municipal zoning, sure, it's retail. But what they're actually executing on Woolwich Street is, well, it's a complex community ecosystem.
That just happens to use a storefront as its physical anchor.
Precisely.
You know, when I first saw metaphysical supply store in the research, my mind immediately went to a very specific, almost cinematic aesthetic.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say. The patchouli.
Yes, smelling heavily of patchouli. I picture this dark, cramped room, packed floor to ceiling with dusty statues.
Maybe some velvet curtains.
Right, and maybe a proprietor who, glares at you if you touch the tarot cards.
It's an intimidating vibe if you aren't already deep into that world.
Exactly. But Soul Intention's digital presence shatters that stereotype instantly. They actually describe themselves as a portal of possibilities and a spiritual healing hub.
Which is a very different tone.
Completely. And the primary call to action on their site isn't buy our stuff. It's literally an invitation to come in, sit down, and have a cup of tea. Is that emphasis on hospitality unusual for a retail space?
It's the engine driving their entire success. We often talk about the concept of the third place in sociology.
Oh, right, the third place.
Yeah, that crucial community anchor outside of your home and your workplace.
Mm.
Historically, it was the town square or the local pub or the barbershop.
Places where you just exist.
Right. And over the last couple of decades, corporate coffee chains really tried to commodify that concept.
Yeah, but those corporate spaces still demand that transactional efficiency you were talking about.
Exactly. You can sit there, sure, but you are effectively renting that chair with your $4 coffee.
And there's a subtle pressure to eventually leave once the cup is empty.
Right. So Soul Intention is effectively stripping away that transactional pressure.
Yeah.
They're building a third place entirely around mindfulness and spirituality.
Which takes a lot of trust.
An immense amount of foundational trust. And you see this right away in how they contextualize the physical space they occupy. It goes way beyond the four walls of Unit 6.
You're talking about the land acknowledgement.
Yes. Their platform prominently features a really comprehensive land acknowledgement. They explicitly note that they are operating on the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit.
Right.
And they give reverence to the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Attawandaron peoples who have stewarded that land since time immemorial.
I noticed that. They actively invite visitors to, pause and actually consider the history of the dirt beneath their feet.
Which is so important.
In a lot of corporate environments, a land acknowledgement can feel like, a box being checked for PR purposes.
A formality.
Yeah, a formality. But here, it reads as a literal grounding mechanism.
Well, because you cannot credibly claim to offer universal spiritual connection or, deep personal healing if you are completely ignoring the physical and historical reality of the space you inhabit.
That makes a lot of sense.
Acknowledging that history isn't just respectful, it establishes a baseline of authenticity for everyone who walks through the door.
And the data proves that authenticity is translating into real-world impact. Because when you look at the community feedback,
the Google reviews.
Yeah, specifically their Google Maps metrics, they are holding a flawless 5.0 rating.
Which is wild.
It is statistically wild. In the modern era of internet reviews, maintaining a perfect 5.0 over an extended period is almost impossible.
People use online reviews to complain, generally.
Exactly. To maintain a perfect score, your community doesn't just have to like you. They have to fiercely protect and advocate for you.
That 5.0 rating is the ultimate validation of the whole tea and chat strategy. It proves that people aren't just reading clever marketing copy. They are genuinely experiencing a safe haven.
A safe haven is a beautiful concept, but a community vibe doesn't pay commercial rent in Guelph.
Sadly, no.
To keep the lights on and the tea brewing, this space has to function economically. So let's look at how they actually generate revenue, because their inventory strategy is just as counterintuitive to the Amazon era as their hospitality is.
It really is. So they stock a massive array of metaphysical tools. The sources detail things like pendulums, Reiki-infused teas, herbs, resins.
Picking bowls.
Yes, singing bowls, and a particularly heavy focus on crystals, specifically tumbles, which are these polished pocket-sized stones that are really accessible for beginners.
Wait, I'm stuck on this point, though.
Right.
You're talking about buying tumbled crystals and singing bowls. If I want a singing bowl right now, I can pull out my phone.
And order it instantly.
Right. I can find one on a massive global e-commerce site for probably half the price and have it dropped on my porch by tomorrow morning. Why on earth are people driving to a physical store, paying retail prices, and taking time out of their day just to buy a tumbled stone?
That is the defining question of modern retail. And Soul Intention's answer to it is the crux of their entire business model.
Okay, I'm listening.
They aren't trying to compete with global supply chains on price or speed. That's a losing game. Instead, they are functioning as a hyper-local economic incubator.
Incubator is an interesting word for a metaphysical shop. Let's explore the mechanics of that.
Think about the friction an independent artisan faces today.
Okay.
If you are a creator in Guelph, maybe you're making orgonite pyramids or crafting specialized apothecary items. Trying to stand out in the algorithm of a global platform like Etsy is nearly impossible.
Because you're competing against mass-produced overseas goods.
Exactly, and you have zero marketing budget. Plus, big box stores certainly aren't going to give you physical shelf space.
Right.
So Soul Intention steps into that void. They provide the physical infrastructure and the curated audience for these micro businesses to actually thrive.
Ah, that makes sense. The sources show they dedicate huge swaths of their inventory to local artisans.
It's a huge part of their floor plan.
They stock Canadian products, but more importantly, they maintain this massive directory of hyper-local creators. I mean, we're talking about makers like Blue Heron Apothecary.
Holy crow connections.
Yeah. The Mossy Rock Studio, Catching Glimmers, Fire and Shadow Alchemy. It's a long list.
And it extends beyond physical crafts to intellectual property, too.
What do you mean?
They heavily promote local independent authors. Writers like Brian Stafford, Brenda Cassidy, Lisa Browning, and Fran Garton, they give these local voices a platform.
So when I buy that tumbled stone or, that locally poured candle at Soul Intention, the psychological dynamic of the transaction is fundamentally altered.
Profoundly altered. When you buy a generic crystal online, your money is instantly extracted from your community and sent to a multinational corporation.
Right, it's gone.
But when you make that purchase at Soul Intention, you are transforming your spending into a direct investment in your own neighborhood.
You're funding your neighbor's creative pursuit.
Exactly. You are keeping the local economy vibrant. That investment in community is the specific value proposition that gets people out of their houses and into the physical store. You simply cannot get that from a one-click online order.
It turns the store from a simple supply chain into a living economic ecosystem.
Beautifully put.
But building on that idea of incubating local creators, the sources reveal they don't just incubate products, right?
But no, not at all.
They incubate actual experiences and, psychological growth.
This is where the healing hub aspect of their mission statement really materializes. They host a deeply vetted, regular faculty of in-house practitioners.
The bench is seriously deep here.
It really is.
You've got Cynthia Cole acting as a wellness specialist.
Yeah.
You've got Marcelo Riveros as a Reiki master.
Maxim Passionin doing palm reading.
Right. Christine Weil specializing in astrology. And Janice Moffat working as a psychic medium.
Having that kind of roster allows them to offer a curriculum that is highly organized, but incredibly diverse in its reach.
I really want to look at their May 2026 calendar as a prime example of this, because looking at it, it reads more like a robust community college syllabus than a retail events page.
It really does.
What caught my eye immediately is how aggressively they demystify the metaphysical space for newcomers and families.
Lowering the barrier to entry is essential. If a space feels too esoteric, it just becomes exclusionary.
Exactly. Like on Saturday, May 16th, they host a soapstone carving workshop specifically for kids.
That's so great.
Right? For $30, a child can come in, learn how to roughen a design, polish it, and leave with a tactile piece of art they created themselves.
And 2 days prior to that, on Thursday, May 14th, they run a Sun, Moon, and Rising astrology workshop.
Explicitly designed for beginners.
Right, to help them understand how their big three signs impact their daily lives. If you are curious about this world but feel intimidated, bringing your kid to carve soapstone on a Saturday afternoon is a very safe, low-stakes introduction to the environment.
It's super approachable. But what makes Soul Intention remarkable is that they don't confine themselves to the shallower end of the pool.
Not at all.
Once they establish that trust, they offer avenues for really profound psychological lifting. And this is where I think you, the listener, can really draw a parallel to broader societal trends.
Oh, for sure.
If you're listening to this, you've probably noticed how clinical and sterile the modern mental health and self-improvement spaces have become.
Oh, it's so true. You book an appointment months in advance.
Yeah, you sit in a quiet waiting room with bad lighting.
You have your 50-minute session, and you leave.
Right. But Soul Intention is taking deep, necessary personal work and wrapping it inside the comfortable, familiar environment of a neighborhood shop. Just look at their Tuesday night self-awareness workshops.
The curriculum for those Tuesday nights is intense.
Yeah.
They're directly addressing people who feel stuck in life, specifically calling out the need to navigate past trauma, process grief.
Untangle toxic relationships.
Yes, and heal from difficult childhoods.
It's structured to help people identify repeating destructive habits and rebuild self-worth. I mean, that is heavy, significant emotional labor.
It is, and alongside that psychological framework, they offer highly immersive, energetic experiences. For example, the Awenity and Attunement session.
Oh, right, with Jane and Derek Snyder on Friday, May 22nd.
Exactly. It's a multimodal healing experience focused on integration and interconnection.
So just consider the spectrum of human experience happening within this one retail footprint.
It's vast.
You have a child learning to carve stone on a Saturday, a beginner mapping out their astrology chart on a Thursday, and an adult confronting deep-seated childhood trauma on a Tuesday night.
All in the same space.
Which leads me to a massive paradox that kept jumping out at me while reviewing these sources.
What's that?
We are talking about a space whose entire value proposition relies on physical, local presence.
Right.
You have to walk through the door on Woolwich Street, you have to sit in the chair, you have to talk to the artisan, you have to drink the tea.
It's deeply
So how does a hyper-local business, utterly reliant on physical proximity, maintain its momentum in a world that is increasingly digital, remote, and isolated?
It's the central tension of their survival, honestly. And the insight here is that the only way to sustain a highly successful local brick-and-mortar store today is to build a highly active digital community that doesn't even live in your city.
That feels so counterintuitive.
It does. But Soul Intention doesn't use the internet to replace their store. They use it to erase their geographic borders.
Because most retailers use digital tools just as a direct sales funnel.
Yeah. Here is a picture of a crystal on our Instagram. Click the link in bio to purchase.
Right. It's still just the vending machine model ported to the internet.
Precisely. Soul Intention instead is using digital architecture to build virtual covens.
Virtual covens.
Yeah. The prime example in their footprint is the Sacred Meadow Circle, or SMC.
The Astral Virtual Gathering, right?
Yes. They host this every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it functions as an international online support group for people seeking guidance in learning witchcraft and metaphysical practices.
That's amazing.
It's this diverse assortment of practitioners from all over the globe, keeping in contact, sharing knowledge, and offering support.
Yeah.
You don't have to live in Guelph.
You don't even have to live in Canada.
Exactly.
I love the mechanics of this because they are basically running an open source spiritual network.
Let's unpack that analogy, actually, because it's incredibly accurate.
Well, in the tech world, open source software thrives because a massive community of developers constantly contributes to the code, right?
Right.
They improve it for everyone, rather than hiding it behind a corporate paywall.
Yeah.
Historically, spiritual knowledge was often hidden behind a paywall of sorts.
Oh, absolutely. You had to find a singular guru.
Travel to them.
Yeah, travel to an ashram or a specific city and basically pay for their hidden wisdom.
Right. But Soul Intention is democratizing that knowledge base.
Yeah.
The community is contributing to the code. Through the SMC, or through their free online Intro to Tarot discussions, the knowledge is communal.
And they also run regular Tarot Talk live broadcasts hosted by their resident reader, Brian Stafford.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the sources.
He goes live, discusses a specific tarot topic, and does readings based directly on the real-time comments from the chat.
So the audience isn't just consuming the broadcast. They are actively shaping the direction of the conversation.
Exactly. And this creates a really fascinating feedback loop. They're offering genuine, high-quality connection and education for free online.
And in return.
In return, that global digital community validates and financially sustains the physical hub back in Guelph.
It's brilliant. When you synthesize all of these data points, I mean, the flawless Google reviews, their participation and success in local awards like Community Votes Guelph.
The sprawling online networks.
And the physical classes,
Hmm.
a very clear picture emerges. The community doesn't view Soul Intention as a retail store.
Not at all.
They view it as an antidote.
An antidote to the specific isolation of modern life. Because whether you are walking into the physical store to buy a piece of jewelry crafted by someone who lives 3 streets over, or you are logging into a video call on a Wednesday night to discuss tarot with someone on another continent.
The underlying mechanism is the exact same.
It is. They're fulfilling their own tagline, do what makes your heart sing.
It's a really powerful operating principle. They are actively fighting the friction and loneliness of the digital age by using both physical space and digital tools to engineer human connection.
So as we pull all these threads together, what is the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive?
Well, Soul Intention proves that the conventional wisdom of modern retail is incomplete. Through their massive structural support of local artisans and authors, they operate as a localized economic engine, right?
Keeping money and creativity circulating within Guelph.
Exactly. And through their diverse curriculum of workshops, spanning from low-stakes beginner crafts to heavy trauma recovery, they function as a full-service community center for mindfulness.
And by blending a deeply physical hospitality model with an open-source digital community, they've really established a blueprint for how a local shop can thrive in a globalized world.
We started this conversation talking about the vending machine model, the modern expectation that acquiring what we need should be an isolated, frictionless, purely transactional experience.
Right. But Soul Intention's 5.0 rating and their vibrant community suggests that people are actually starving for the exact opposite.
They really are.
They are desperate for messy, beautiful, relational connection.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to ponder today as you go about your week. Zoom out from Guelph, Ontario, and look at the physical spaces in your own city or town.
Yeah, look around your neighborhood.
In a reality where almost every physical object you could ever want can be delivered right to your doorstep by tomorrow afternoon, what is the specific tea and chat factor in your life?
What is that unique human element that actually compels you to leave your house, log off, and interact with your neighbors?
And more importantly, how might you help foster, fund, or support that kind of welcoming, community incubating space in your own backyard?
Because those spaces don't survive by accident. They require intentional investment from the people around them.
Something to really think about the next time you're tempted by the convenience of one-click delivery. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Until next time, keep exploring.